Take two. Add, subtract rational expressions. Okay? Adding, subtracting fractions. Quick review. 3/4 plus 5/4 equals 8/4, right? Which would reduce to 2. Right? 7/9 minus 2/9 would 7/9 minus 2/9 would be 5/9. Right? Okay, adding and subtracting fractions. 2/3 plus 4/5. Can't do it, so you need to find a common denominator.
15.
A lot of times you multiply the denominators together, so you got to make both denominators become a 15. So what do you got to do this fraction? Multiply the top and the bottom by 5. What do you got to do this fraction? Top and the bottom by 3. Gives you 10/15 plus 12/15. And your answer would be 22/15. Okay, you're not going to have to change two mixed numbers or any of that stuff, okay? But you guys kind of remember that a little bit. Okay, that's adding and subtracting fractions. When you add and subtract, you add and subtract what's on top and you keep the denominator the same. Okay? Call it silly if you want to review, but it's funny how much we forget. Right? Now, so if I had something like this, 3x over x plus 4 plus 8x over x plus 4, could I add those together? Yeah, they have like denominators, they have a common denominator. What would my answer be? 11x over
x plus 4.
x plus 4. Okay. You can add the numerators because the denominators are already alike. Okay. 6x over x minus 2 minus x plus 3 over x minus 2. Right? Again, they have like denominators, so all you got to do is subtract.
So 3 over x minus 2. This one, x is
6x minus x plus 3 is how much? 5x minus 3.
Because there's a 1 on the end.
Because if you take 6x and you subtract x plus 3, 6x minus x plus 3 is like 6x minus 1x minus 3, right? If you distribute the minus sign. So 6x minus 1x is 5x minus 3. So my final answer would be 5x minus 3 over x minus 2. What's that?
How'd you get the minus 3 again?
So I'm taking 6x and I'm subtracting that. I am subtracting all of that. So 6x minus x plus 3, I'm subtracting the x, but I'm also subtracting the 3. Okay? That mistake happens all the time. People just see the plus here and leave it a plus. They think the only thing being subtracted is that first term. No. All of that quantity is being subtracted. So essentially you got to think about distributing that minus sign to everything up here if there's more than one term. Okay? How are we doing so far? Keeping up? Okay, haven't even changed denominators yet, so that's good. We'll do one more of those minus ones and then we'll get to where we need to change. 7 over x plus 5 minus 2x minus 3 over x plus 5. What do you guys think?
2x minus 10. Because
Not be 10 minus 2 x. Should be the minus that makes it a condition.
2x plus 4.
So what do we take? What do we subtract?
2x
7 minus 2x minus 3, right?
This would be negative 2x plus 10.
Negative 2x plus 10. Yep. Because that's 7 minus 2x plus 3. Or 10 minus 2x, or negative 2x plus 10. I don't care how you want to write it. Okay? Negative 2x plus 10 all over
X plus 5.
x plus 5. Let's be a little, sometimes you might, to know if you can simplify, you might need to factor. This top is factorable. I don't think it's going to simplify, but I can pull out a negative 2, right? And then I'd have x minus 5 left over. You guys agree with that? For the numerator? See what I did there? I took out a negative 2. So does anything cancel? No, almost. I thought it did for a second. That's why I was checking. Okay. It almost simplified, but it really doesn't. So I'd accept either answer. A lot of times, though, to double check to make sure you can't simplify a fraction any further, it helps to factor it completely. You know how we talked about that yesterday, to factor things to see if you can simplify. Okay, so that's why I pulled out a negative 2, all right, to see if it would factor any further, but it did not. So this would be your answer right there. Okay? All right, so far so good? All right, how's my time, Tyler?
You're at 7 minutes.
7 minutes, okay? All right. So, I'd start putting the following ones in my notes if I were you, okay? Over 5x plus 7 over 6x. Keep in mind, when you're changing denominators of a fraction, you can only change that denominator by multiplying it by something, okay? You can't just decide, oh, I'm going to add a number to the denominator of a fraction. You can never add a number to the denominator of a fraction. You can multiply the denominator by something as long as you do it to the numerator too. You can multiply the top and the bottom of a fraction by a number or something. That keeps it the same, but you can never add or subtract something to the bottom and top of a fraction. That changes the fraction's value, okay? So that would be changing the fraction. All right? So knowing that, what do you think we're going to make our least common denominator? I'm going to write that over here to the side. What do you think we're going to make our least common denominator? 30 x squared. You can go 30x squared would work, but you can go you can just do 30x. Okay? 30x squared is fine, but you don't even need to go to x squared. You could just do 30x. What would you have to multiply this by to get to 30x? Just 6. What would you have to multiply this by to get to 30x? Just 5, okay? If you want to go to 30x squared, you can, but then you're going to have to simplify more in the end, okay? I would make my least common denominator be just 30x, okay? It's like if you have 3 over 4 plus 7 over 8. Okay? Could you make your denominators become 32?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? You can make them both become 32, but that's a lot of extra work because then you're going to have to reduce more later on. Wouldn't it be smarter just to make both denominators become 8? Okay? So you want to try and come up with the least common denominator, okay? And I'd say the least common denominator here, or the least common denominator here is definitely 30x. So I'm going to multiply this one by 6 over 6. I'll multiply this one by 5 over 5. Okay? So what do we get here?
72 over 30x.
72 over 30x
35 over 30x.
plus 35 over 30x. Now I can add them together. 107 over 30x. Can you reduce that? Nope. Nothing to reduce. Nothing goes into 107. Okay? So nothing is, they don't have anything that they're a common factor that they're divisible by. So my final answer would be 107 over 30x. Okay? So what do you think of that first example there? Not too bad.